Hey, what's up, mortals? MikeyMac here. Welcome to part 2 of What If Obito Won the War. I just wanted to greet you guys by saying sit back and relax. You're in for a treat. And so we begin. No, this wasn't a prank. Their chakra signatures were reducing, along with their life force, diminishing with every passing moment. Desperate looks decorated the faces of the onlookers. Even the great Hashirama was stunned for a brief second before coming to his senses. His hands slammed together, and in that instant, chakra was manipulated into trees of various sizes and details that tore through the ground, dressing the earth with large crevices. The sea of trees moved toward Obito in the hopes of causing him to distance himself from the weakened duo, but it seemed like it wasn't possible. It's futile. Obito whispered those words, but even as a mere whisper, the heightened senses of the god of shinobi caught them. He did not let them sway him from his task. He held his ground. Obito responded to Hashirama's last desperate attempt to sway him from his goal of finishing Uzumaki and his will of fire, but Obito knew better than to let himself be caught by those roots. His hands equipped with two weapons of great might, and they swung to his sides. In that one swift movement, Hashirama's attack was swept away, the trees broken from each other, carried away in a wave. The Nunoboko was indeed a great weapon. And once more, before anyone could react, he slammed the weapon said to be able to bring the creation and destruction of the world down on Naruto Uzumaki and Sasuke Uchiha, finalizing their fates. They were dead. Clouds of dust rose as the massive weapons pummeled the ground. They shrouded most of the battlefield just like before. The entire Shinobi Alliance froze. Their eyes started to tear up as they waited to confirm what they knew was certain. Impossible. Most of the ninja in the Shinobi Alliance said that word, but there was stammering among them, and there was doubt. Some suggested that maybe they'd escaped and managed to hide their chakra signatures in order to sneak around and attack Obito, but the dust started to dissipate, and their vision became clear. The first to break into tears was Sakura. Her scream of agony echoed through the entire battlefield. She was the first one to see the cleaved and crushed bodies of Naruto and Sasuke. Blood was pouring out from open wounds, brain matter oozing from cracked skulls, and bones that were broken to the point where not even Kurama could do anything about it. They didn't have any more life force. They were dead. A Jinchuriki killed in action. His tailed beast Kurama followed, albeit temporarily, but his current whereabouts remained unknown and uncertain. He simply faded away like he had never once existed within Uzumaki. Now you all dream. Obito's voice carried that familiar finality, like a few moments before when he eliminated his biggest threats. Now he was the biggest threat to the entire shinobi force, with presumably no one capable of stopping him. He ascended once more, his height increasing at a steady rate. Spread out and attack. Same tactics. Hashirama spoke, trying to regain the confidence of the Shinobi Alliance. Letting the death of Naruto and Sasuke go to waste was not his intention, and he would not let it slide, not even by chance. He clapped his hands together, signifying the surge of chakra in him before 5 wooden clones seemingly peeled away from his being. They spread out almost immediately, using leaps as their means of transportation. They appeared in front of the ninja of various villages, briefly reassuring them and giving them a newfound hope, planting determination in their hearts and convincing them that this could still be stopped. But everyone looked sober, like they'd lost a part of themselves, just as Naruto and Sasuke had lost their lives. You people never learn. The Uchiha looked down at them, getting all riled up to meet their death. He almost felt pity for them, hundreds throwing away their lives after listening to those clones. It was truly pathetic. Let's go! The tree, or his head! The majority of the Shinobi Alliance chanted those words while they ran and leapt and flew toward the tree. Only those with senjutsu went toward Obito. The rest focused on the divine tree, using their cutting and slicing weapons in rigorous attempts, along with ninjutsu. Not all attacks were proven successful. Some ended up slicing halfway and then losing momentum totally. Some didn't go in at all before losing their momentum, while some, the fruitful ones, were able to cleanly cut through, slicing the tree without limit. But the attackers weren't met with a submissive tree. The tree fought back, growing branches that hoped to skewer the ninjas and crush them. Their numbers reduced just like the size of the tree. The fruit at the top was close to blooming. It was only a matter of time. Hashirama went for the 10 tails Jinchuriki, his hands forming hand seals, while a huge root erupted from the ground, exactly where he stood. It moved in Obito's direction. Hashirama surfed on it, the wind pushed against his hair and crimson armor, dragging his black silk hair backward as it raged on. His armor barely moved, just making tiny sounds as if something clashed against it. His eyes bulged out, all the emotions gathered from the realization of Naruto and Sasuke's death clearly visible, but he didn't let it blind his decision-making. He would not let it. That was one thing his years of experience had brought him. Before he could even cover the 200-meter gap, Obito was already on the offense. His right hand swung forward, and with it came the Nunoboko. Hashirama easily sighted the threat, but didn't slow down the speed of his moving root. He simply weaved a different set of hand seals. Several roots grew from the gigantic root, forming a contained semicircle around him. A shell meant to serve a purpose, and that was to protect him against attacks. Considering the roots were all fused with natural energy, it was simply impossible for the sword of Nunoboko to negate it. It was a test of strength, and the barrier seemed capable of resisting a blow from the Nunoboko without noticeable damage. Obito decided to take the risk, enjoying himself with a broad and cynical smile on his face. He struck and struck and struck until the semicircle was torn apart, but in his moment of excitement, he forgot that Hashirama never stopped approaching him. The moment the wooden barrier broke off, the thing that was revealed seemed to be Obito's worst nightmare, judging from his facial expression. His face contorted into a frown, while Hashirama's chakra-shouted fist moved toward the face of the 10 tails Jinchuriki at an alarming rate. Obito was faster and was able to easily evade the attack, moving his head to his right side and letting the fist float inches from his face. The stupid smile came again, but it was cut short as Hashirama's hand seemed to split into several roots. The roots lunged toward Obito at point-blank range. What to do? Obito pondered his options. Avoiding wasn't one of them. They came at too great a speed, and from almost every angle. But an idea flashed in his mind, one he thought would be perfect. The sword of Nunoboko transfigured, changing shape from what it was previously to a small rod, similar to the ones used by the Sixth Path of Pain. Obito grabbed one of the small roots from the crowd that assaulted him and dragged it closer to himself. Along with it came Hashirama, drawn closer to the source of Naruto's death. There was no fear in his face, nor in his heart, not even for a second. Obito stabbed Hashirama, and moments later he solidified to become one of his wooden clones, the frustration building up and becoming visible in his eyes. And just as Obito tossed the dead clone from a height, Hashirama seemingly peeled away from the huge root that was used as a means of transportation. It became obvious that he had been hiding there all along, keeping his presence concealed from everyone, especially from Obito. Obito's senses picked up something. It was near, too near in fact. He realized that it was the real Hashirama, or at least that's what he thought. Leaping forward at maximum speed, his body was nothing but a blur. Hashirama's hand forming multiple wooden spikes that raced toward Obito with the hopes of skewering him. Obito tried to defend, desperately turning to his other side. With his palm wide open, the sword of Nunoboko transfigured yet again, but this time into a shield just like before. But the entire process was much slower than Hashirama's attack. His wooden spikes pierced the Uchiha, tearing through his scale-like skin and harming himself. His crimson blood soaked into the spikes, coursing through them like chakra in a ninja, only to drip out as drops of unwanted blood. Hashirama didn't stop there. Almost instantly, he made the protuberances increase in number, causing more and more damage to the near immortal. His blood poured out in a rush, but the wood acted as an obstacle to its flow and made it fall to the battlefield as drops. It was raining blood. Some ninjas stopped to watch the sight above, joy on their faces. But would it be short-lived? Of course, every transgression against Obito was short-lived. He pressed onwards, the spikes going deeper into his body, more pain coursing through him. As he reached Hashirama, he thrust his head forward forcibly, with probably the same force as his punch. It was incredible. Hashirama's head flew backwards from the tremendous force. If bleeding was a thing that reanimations could do, then he probably would have bled. Obito's face was as cold as ever. No smile, not any intriguing facial expression, just that blank expression that remained difficult to read. Obito. Thank you all for indulging yourselves in the story thus far. I hope you're enjoying it. Now, there's a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, we've got a primary channel called We the Celestials. We the Celestials is what we do here already, but their content's centered around the crazy world and lore of My Hero Academia. So please check us out over there if you're feeling in the mood for a roller coaster of quirky content. We also have another relative to our channel, Anime Deep Dive. Anime Deep Dive goes deep into the facts and lore of a wide variety of anime. It's sure to expand your weeb knowledge for all kinds of series. Guaranteed. I'd like to let you all know on behalf of We the Celestials that we'd like to thank everyone involved in the production of today's awesome content. Their details will be in the description below. If you're perhaps interested in what we do here at WTC, then I'd like to extend an invitation for you to join the team. The only caveat being that we only accept members 16 and older to join our crew. You can find us on our Discord, which you can locate in the description below. Our Discord's an all-around fantastic place to be, whether you're a fan or if you're just looking to join our band of misfits. All you gotta do is hit up the recruitment server and sign up for whichever category of work fulfills your interests. We're always looking for new members to join. Well, that's it for us for today's video. So thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.